Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sedro Woolley Rotary, the best Rotary Club in the universe. All right, inspiration invocation.
Yes, sir. As we gather under the open skies of ideas, let us invoke the spirit of clarity. May our minds be free from the clutter of distractions, enabling us to see our objectives with unwavering focus. Through discussions, let us chart a course that is guided by our collective vision. Let this invocation of clarity illuminate the path to thoughtful discussions and purposeful actions, binding us in a common purpose that transcends our differences.
Excellent, thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, welcome everybody. We have a great meeting today. We have an induction of a new member. We have some good announcements. We have a great speaker here that I'm excited to hear about. So welcome. Let's start with any visiting Rotarians. I didn't see any, but okay, how about guests of Rotarians? Danny?
I have with me today Cooper McBride. Stand up. And he is a current student at the University of Washington. He's studying real estate and he's doing an internship with me this summer. So I'm not holding it against him that he wears purple. So welcome, Cooper.
Any other guests? Nope. Great.
I have my son Hunter here. He recently graduated from Whitworth University and his Army medic training and all that. So he is ready to enter the workforce.
Excellent. Great. And did I hear that right, Hunter? Great. Welcome, Cooper and Hunter. Glad you're here. Okay, before we go into business, I think we should do the important stuff. So, Louis, would you like to come forward? And Josh, I believe.
Well, this part of the new member induction is the formal part, Adele. So I'll just go ahead and read it. President Travis, fellow Rotarians and guests, it is indeed an honor to induct Ardell as the newest member of the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club. The mission of Rotary is to provide service to others, promote high ethical standards, and advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through its fellowship with businesses, professionals, and community leaders. We are not a political organization, but are dedicated to the practice of good citizenship. We are not a charitable organization, but are dedicated to helping our fellow man. We are not a religious organization, but are dedicated to the ideals of morality and high ethical standards. We bring together our individual skills, resources, and qualities of leadership to improve the quality of life for people not only in our local communities, but also in communities around the world. Ardell, you have been chosen for membership into the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley because the Rotarians of this club feel that you possess the qualities of leadership in your field, the qualities of personal conduct, the willingness to share those qualities of personal conduct all directed towards the pursuit of Rotary's mission. It has been said that when a Sedro Woolley Rotarian is asked to perform, the answer is yes. President Travis, fellow Rotarians and guests, please join me in welcoming Adele Skinner as the newest member of the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley. Josh is Adele's sponsor, and Josh, you will be available for Adele if she has any questions or concerns, and follow up with her attendance record. Okay. That's it.
Thank you. Adele.
Welcome, Adele. Excited to have you. And so let me just give you a quick little story. Speaking of Rotarians saying yes, so I know Adele is going to make a great Rotarian because we are interviewing somebody for a position at Flexure, and they listed Adele as a personal reference. So I texted Adele. She probably, when she got my text, had no idea who it was, but she responded with, absolutely, I'd love to talk to you. So thanks for doing that. Appreciate it. Okay, some club business. So a reminder, I sent out the email, the committees and the budget, and I haven't gotten a whole lot of feedback back, so I'm just reminding you that if you don't speak now, you will be on the same committee that you're currently on, which is okay, if that's what you would like. And if you don't give any input on the budget, I'm going to spend the money exactly like I want to. So there you go. Let's see. How about Chris? Chris, would you like to talk about the summer concert series?
We had an amazing first night last Sunday. We had the Penny Seekers. As many of you probably know Jeff, lead singer. We go way back. I've actually been started playing with those guys sophomore year in high school. So I've known them for a little while, and they were also the very first band ever booked when I started putting this all together. So it was kind of neat to see that they remembered how to get to the stage. Yeah, we had great attendance. I mean, that whole field where they usually set up the carnival was completely packed with cars for the first night. The beer garden was great, great vendors, good food. The hula hoops disappeared really quick. The kids were really excited to take all those home. And yeah, all in all, it was a great night. We had a good raffle. We had a couple of $1 raffle items that were all donated by the vendors. And then we had a large $5 outdoor game raffle prize, which was won by our very own Rick Lemley. So I do expect to, hopefully see some of that at the salmon barbecue, because who doesn't want to throw axes and knives at the barbecue? So, yeah. Anyway, so it was a lot of fun. Very first night, great turnout. And then, of course, this Sunday we have Dangerous Curves, and it's an all-women's tribute rock band. So make sure to come down, bring the kids, bring the family, bring your lawn chairs, and come down and enjoy it. So, yeah.
Great, thank you. Mr. Carl.
Thank you, President Travis. So Rotarians, I'm the outgoing and maybe incoming, but I thought Teak was supposed to be the incoming international chair. That's we can talk about that. But we have two worthy projects. One we've kind of already agreed on, and we're going to send $2,000 to the school down in Uruguay. First time we've ever donated to the country, anything in the country of Uruguay. So our Rotary reach is getting out there. Adele, just so that you know, you're welcome to join any of these committees, and this is all about international support. And the other one is we had a terrible disaster down in Venezuela, and then we had another one in Texas with floods in Texas. And I'm suggesting that the club you have $2,000, $1,000, you know, in my mind goes to Texas and 1,000 goes to Venezuela through Disaster Aid USA, which Disaster Aid USA is a pretty much almost all volunteer, mostly Rotarian based group, and they are incredible. They were on the ground in Venezuela with their partner agency, Disaster Aid Venezuela, like on day one. And they were in Texas calling out for boats, and they were doing chainsaw work, and within like the second day, the very next day. So this is a great group. It deserves our support. I would love to go out and help them with the physical work, but right now I'm just a little too busy. And but if anybody ever is interested in that, I would encourage you to look into Disaster Aid USA, because you can be the boots on the ground in an emergency with some training, and they would be glad to have your help. And so anyway, that's what my proposal is. Do we feel like that's a good thing to do? And does anybody object to that idea? Okay, all right, that's what we'll do. Thank you, and keep on keeping on.
And Carl, just point of order, we have that money already established in the budget, so this is just the International Committee spending budgeted money. Great, thanks, Carl. Ellen.
At installation, I gave out the Perfect Attendance Awards, and there was 2 people that received them that were not able to attend installation. And one of them is with us today. Where's Louis Riqua? Got the Perfect Attendance Award.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ellen. And the last thing is reminder that next week we do not have a lunchtime meeting. Tiffany and Todd are hosting a fireside social at Todd Wright's house on Clear Lake. I literally just moments ago sent out an email with an invite, so when you guys get back and look at your email, you'll all have the details in that invite. And hopefully we have a well-attended event. It's supposed to be nice weather, beautiful spot, so that'd be really great. And I'm pretty sure, Adele, you're required to be there. Okay, anybody have anything else for the good of the order? Danny?
Your table here, I put kind of a printout of an invitation. On August 15th at Big Lake Elementary, we are going to be holding a dedication ceremony for the Robert and Becky Gates Outdoor Learning Center. The Rotary Club was generous and contributed, I think, $17,500 to this project a couple of years ago. And those funds, along with other fundraising efforts, has brought this building to life. And just a little bit of backstory, we've been working on this project for many, many years and have had to jump through lots of hoops with the county, but the building is up, and this is just a great way to honor Bob and Becky and the over $1.8 million that they've contributed to our school district. Not only that, they've contributed, money to our food bank, the sheriff's department, many other groups, including our own. So if you're able to attend, we'd love to have you there to celebrate and honor them. So thank you.
Okay, do we have a raffle?
$46. $25 cash. Donate it back. Thank you, Tate. Next up's 11. Go on. And last but not least, 26. Is that you?
Yep.
Okay, so if your birthday or anniversary is in July, that's $2 or $3 respectively if you haven't paid yet this month. I don't think anybody came late today, so if anyone has to leave early, throw in a couple of bucks for that as well. And who's happy?
A couple of things. So my wife and I celebrated our 27th wedding anniversary last Friday, sorry. And I couldn't make it last Thursday, so here's my fee there. We celebrated at the Connor Skagit County Marina on our boat, and we went into town for dinner Friday night. We were there Friday night and Saturday night, and we're pretty lucky to be able to do those kinds of things with our boat. And so we'll be out at Friday Harbor again in a couple of weeks. So, and then I'm also happy that Adele has joined the club. I've known her for a very long time, and her husband for a very long time, Shad, and she's going to be a great member.
I've got a happy $20 here. It's the minimum that What? Oh, sorry, Louis. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to win the kid prize at the concert the other night, so my grandkids are going to enjoy a nice, happy, playful summer.
I got a couple bucks here. One is a happy buck for Adele coming into the club. But Alan, I think you know that I was the former chairman of the Sergeant of Arms Committee that Travis has nixed. And you were supposed to have a package. So I'm going to take retroactive strength here and say it's $2 for not having the package ready. They gave her a little tiny pin. That's pretty nice, though. And the other fine I'm paying is for Chris. I told her last meeting I'd be at the concert. I didn't make it. I almost came down with heat stroke and was in the bottom of our old pool trying to get it ready to get the new pool put in. And so I didn't make it, Chris, I'm sorry.
I got a couple happy bucks. I missed last week and this is more of a public service announcement for you guys. I went to Lake Osoyoos. Who here has ever even heard of that? Okay. Yeah, most people here never even heard of that, but what a great place to visit. It's, you go over through Omak and up through Orville and you cross the border. Well, the lake it's on both sides of the border, but we were up in Canada with our daughter, granddaughter, and son-in-law and had a nice little vacation. And, you know, it's like Tuscany over there, if you've never been over there. And there's grapes and there's peaches and apricots and cherries. Man, it was really cool. And you can go swim in the lake. It was really a great time.
That's my homeland. I know. That's the soil I stomped on. Now you know what this is all about. The peaches. I have some happy bucks because I will walk this weekend in Seattle with my master's. And I'm above average because the average graduate is 35. So I'm feeling excited about that. And I've been doing that for the last 6 months. So I squeaked in at the very end, so I'm excited about that.
Okay, well, thanks, Louis. I'll just add to the $5 I was going to find myself. I've only been retired a week, but I've already lost track of what day it is and what time it is. $5 finding myself for not bringing Adele's packet.
I thought it was interesting, Ellen, when you said newly retired, Keith was totally shaking his head, like, I get it.
I just got a happy 5 for the concert series and all the friends and family and a couple of Rotarians that showed up to help. Thank you. And then the other 5 is I've got sheetrock in my house now. So it seems to be moving really fast. I'm second guessing the color choices I was going to paint. So if anybody has any good suggestions for that Cedar Grove, please come by and help me look through a swatch. Thanks.
All right, I got a happy 20. I am leaving tomorrow morning on a 2-week vacation, and I think I've had one other 2-week vacation in my career, so I'm pretty excited about it. So next week, we're not having a meeting. The following week, Chad is going to get to cut his teeth on running a meeting for you guys. So I'm loading up the meeting with lots of challenging topics for him just to make sure he's ready for you. So, but anyway, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to hop on my motorcycle. I'm going to Idaho. We're going to take off on what's called the Magruder Trail, Magruder Corridor, which is the route through the Bitterroots that the Nez Perce Indians took to go hunt in the plains of Montana, and it's a backcountry route, all off-road, and so we're doing that over, and then on the way back, we're taking a route called the Lolo Motorway, which is also a backcountry route coming back west. So super excited about that. I'm a little nervous about getting hurt, but I'll do my best not to. Week after that, my kids are all coming into town with my grandbaby, and we're going to go crabbing all week and just have a great, relaxing week. So very excited about that. And then I have one fine. Anybody here, not a guest, not sitting in this front table, that's $2. We're going to keep doing that until I can get you guys to come up here with me, because it's really lonely up here. Okay, any other happy bucks? All right, great job. Okay, so we are at the point of early leavers, but I am going to encourage you guys. This is a great program on a very challenging topic, so you're going to want to stay and hear our speaker. Just give you a couple minutes here. Not to call Tiffany out, but looks like she's an early leaver. Okay, great. So at this point, I would like to call Ruth forward to introduce our speaker.
Okay, so our speaker today, Melinda, and I don't have your last name written down on here, is it? Herrera. Okay. Melinda has been a Whatcom County resident since 2008, a Texas native who loves Texas and 100% considers Whatcom County home. A social worker by trade, Melinda is excited to return to the nonprofit world where she can help make a difference for all students in Whatcom and Skagit counties. Melinda has worked with seniors in various forms of healthcare, from skilled nursing to in-home care, and most recently as the executive director of a senior living community. Melinda started her career over 20 years ago working with CIS of Central Texas. She has also served on the board of directors for over 10 years, and for 5 of those was board chair. Melinda is a true champion of the work CIS has done and continues to do. She is excited about the mission, partnering with schools, districts, and community members to help move the mission forward. When not working, Melinda enjoys time with her family, partner, and dogs. You can often find Melinda working on a knitting project, reading a good book, playing video games, working in the garden, or fishing at one of our local watering holes. Let's give a warm Rotary welcome to Melinda.
Thank you. I'm going to take this off because I am a walker and a talker. So first of all, thank you guys for allowing me to come and chat with you guys for a little bit about the work that we're doing. I'm just going to jump right into it because that was a great introduction. Thanks so much, Ellen. And if you guys don't vote on or talk to Travis about the budget, I think he said he was just going to give all the money to communities and schools. So no need to act any further. We're fine. So communities and schools, I'm going to give you a little bit of history about communities and schools, and then I'm going to talk about the work that we're actively doing in schools now, how we do it, and why we do it. So Communities and Schools has been in Whatcom County since 2008, which is also the year that I happened to move up here from Texas. And then we moved down into the Skagit Valley area in 2016 when Mount Vernon School District had heard of the work that we were doing in Whatcom County and said, we need this for our students here, and funded a whole bunch of positions at some of their schools, and we still have a great partnership with them to this day. Communities and Schools is also part of a nationwide organization. We have a national office out of Virginia. I don't know, something like we are in 3,500 schools across the country, serving more than 2 million students. If you put all of our school sites together, Communities and Schools would be the largest school district in the country. But we are our own individual affiliates. So what does that mean? That means we all have our own 501c3. We all do our own fundraising, our grant writing, our networking. We have our own board of directors, and we are very focused on our local communities. So people will sometimes ask, like, oh, you don't need money, you've got a national office. That's not what they do. I wish. Life would be easier if it did. Hold on, let me figure out this guy. Is it? Okay. I can just. Do we need to click the present mode at the bottom? Nope, or share. Here? No, I was thinking it was. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. There you go. Oh, okay. Okay. I think it works now, I think. Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, technical issues. The mission of Communities and Schools is to surround students with a community of support, empowering them to stay in school and achieve in life. So what our goal is to give them skills, them being students and young people, skills that they can use now and after they graduate from high school. So we do a lot of goal setting with our students that is going to help prepare them for future life. So how do we do this? We have site coordinators in all of the schools that we're contracted with. So we're contracted with 17 schools in 6 school districts across the 2 counties. I have 18 site coordinators in the 17 schools, which just means that one of our schools has 2 site coordinators because of a larger population. It was kind of an experiment that I wanted to see how we would be able to manage to have more site coordinators in schools and therefore helping more students. So our site coordinators are in school every single day. They're there throughout the entire academic year. They have an office. They are a face that is familiar to students. And their sole reason for being on campus is to support students. So we support them with basic needs. We support them with academic support, helping them get to school. We have a big chronic absenteeism problem. A lot of our schools have, I don't know, 20, 30, 40% chronic absenteeism, which just means kids aren't getting to school. Lots of times it isn't the kid's fault, right? It's, they're they're in the 5th grade and they don't really have control of, is mom waking up? Do we have an alarm? Do we have food? All of those things. So we help them, and we're also helping parents so that our students can be more successful. And so this is Justin. Justin is our site coordinator at Squalicum High School in Bellingham. And our site coordinators become these trusted adults. They just earn the respect and trust of our students. Bill Milliken founded Communities in Schools in 1977. And as he was talking to students who had dropped out of school, he wanted to know why. And what Bill discovered through these conversations with young people was that they were smart. They weren't having a problem learning the education and the academic part of school. The words that these kids literally said was, "Why am I there if nobody knows my name?" Imagine walking into a room, which we have all done at some point in our lives, where we knew absolutely nobody, right? I literally just did it 30 minutes ago, and I was immediately welcomed by Travis. It was a greeting, it was a hello, a handshake. It made me feel like you guys wanted to listen to me talk for the next 20 minutes, right? But I felt immediately welcomed. Had I not had that feeling or that experience, my demeanor would probably be different. Actually, it probably wouldn't be, because I'm really resilient and I would just keep doing what I'm doing. But if I was a 15-year-old kid walking into a room, having somebody greet me and say, "Oh, hi, you're Melinda. It's nice to meet you. I'm happy you're here," makes the world of difference. And that's what our site coordinators do. They get to know who you are. They get to know the holistic child, what they're really dealing with, and not just in those 6, 7, 8 hours that they're at school. They get to find out what's happening at home so that we can help them through any of their difficulties. We are teaching them basic life skills. The 2 pictures here are at Mount Baker Middle School in the Mount Vernon School District, and they're doing a cooking club. Right, so we're using whole foods to teach students to make whole meals, which is something that's going to last throughout their entire life. I have college-aged nephews who don't know how to cook, and one of my nephews calls and is like, "Yeah, can you tell me how to make Dad's chicken, blah, blah, blah?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's talk through it." But that's a skill they didn't learn. So part of being a nationwide organization, we do have some tools that they provide us. And one of the things is that we are very data-driven and evidence-based. So everything that we do, we know it has a purpose, it's been tried, and it's always a little bit different. But we do have a unique model that we follow. Every Communities in Schools has to follow this model, and it's what works. We start with our partners. We come in, we're talking to community members, we're talking to school districts, we're coming into schools, we're getting to know them. Once we're in schools, we do a needs assessment, we start our programming, we reflect on it halfway through the year. Are students meeting their goals? If they're not, how do we pivot? What do we need to do to make students more successful? And then we kind of do it all over again every year. We have 3 tiered supports that we really focus on. And those tiered supports are led by some of these basic needs. My team is pretty well versed in adverse childhood experiences. If you guys are not familiar with adverse childhood experiences, also known as ACEs, these are some events that can happen throughout a child's life that could potentially have a negative impact. Some of them is like homelessness, food insecurity, abuse, sexual abuse, exposure to drugs and alcohol, things like this. The higher the number of adverse, you can have a score of 10. The higher your ACEs score, the higher chances you have as an adult to have things like chronic disease, diabetes, cancer, addiction. The people who have, and there are exceptions, because there are exceptions to every rule, they're facing unemployment issues. It becomes more challenging to become a productive member of society. One of the things that research has shown is that one of the things to combat your ACEs score is to have a single trusted adult who is not a parent. And it sounds easy, and it's not, because children, students don't have access to a lot of adults, especially if they're parents, right? It is a reality. Some parents are actively using drugs, are actively in prostitution, are actively hiding from immigration, right? There's many instances and many situations that can affect students. So having a trusted adult placed in your school where you should be going on a regular basis is what we're trying to do. We're trying to help long-term effects. Services that we provide in our tiers vary, right? We really focus on attendance support, academic support. We kind of call it the ABCs: attendance, behavior, coursework, and social emotional learning. We're also really big on basic needs, providing healthy snacks, hygiene supplies. There's nothing worse than a middle school girl, high school girl, not having the supplies that she needs. I know that this is mostly a room full of men, so you won't understand it, but the handful of women are like, oh, I remember, right? It's kind of a surprise. We get our menstrual cycle, and then we don't have anything to do. Communities and Schools is there to save the day. It sounds like a really small thing, and it's actually a really big thing, because nobody wants that. So our tier supports are, our first tier is we're providing whole school supports, just like Travis did when I got here. We're creating that sense of culture, we're creating that sense of belonging, that sense of welcoming. We literally have site coordinators dressed up as dinosaurs in blow-up costumes. They're blowing bubbles, they're playing music, welcoming kids to school. We also create welcoming environments for parents. Believe it or not, not all of our parents feel safe in our public schools. And so if we can help bring our parents to a place where they feel safe, they are more inclined to send their students to a place where they feel safe. And then our tier 2 is we do small groups. And that can be anything. Every site has a study table because we want students to be caught up on homework. But then we do, fun things like an art club or a D&D or anime or a quiet lunch space. So those are all available to the entire school. Our tier 3 is more of a one-to-one case management where they get to meet regularly with our site coordinators, and it can be a check-in, a check-out, see how they're doing, help with emotion regularity, setting some goals, doing homework. And so our site coordinators stay really busy throughout the entire academic year. I do a lot of Rotary presentations because I find Rotary are like some of the nicest people around, and you guys are always welcoming and willing to listen to some lady talk about something she loves. So thank you for that. I also realized that during my, I've probably sat in the last couple of months, 4 or 5 Rotary meetings. You guys follow the Communities and Schools model as far as our tiers go, because you do whole community support. You're also doing international support, right? So we would consider that a tier 1. You have your individual committees where you get together, right? That's a tier 2. And then you guys mentor each other, right? Adele can check in with Josh whenever she needs to. Something is happening. Josh, as a good mentor, should also check in with Adele and be like, hey, how was this meeting for you? Is there anything that you need? Hey, I'm gonna go to this Rotary event, you should come with me, right? So you guys are practicing Communities and Schools models, didn't even know it. You guys are lucky, because Communities and Schools is almost as rad as Rotary. So these are just kind of some pictures of the things that we do, our basic needs closets. One of the things that we pride ourselves in when it comes to our basic needs is we try to get as much new stuff as possible. Yes, we absolutely have gently used clothing, but we try to get as many new things as possible because our kids deserve it, right? We've seen the kids with the shoes who looks like you can see their toes sticking out of their shoes. So let's get them a new pair of shoes if they can. Academic and attendance support, right? Being Hispanic, I think like food is my love language. And so I'm always like, feed them and they will come. And so we feed them and they complete homework. And so the picture in the top middle is kind of one of my favorites, this one. I love pointers. One of our students at Shuckson Middle School had his bike stolen. And that was literally the only way he got to school because he lived just right at the point of the walk zone. Schools set like about a mile perimeter. And if you live within that mile, you're not eligible to take the bus. So he lived right there. So, a good 20 minutes to walk, but much faster on a bike. So our site coordinator was like, oh, we're going to get you a new bike. And so she worked her magic and got him a new bike. And he goes to school. We also don't lose sight that if the work doesn't get done by teachers, the work's not getting done. So we try to support teachers as much as possible as well. Little gifts, lunches, decorating a teacher's lounge so that it's a space that they also want to go relax, unwind. Everybody needs to have that space when they're working in a public school. This is a list of the schools that we serve. So in Whatcom County, we are in Bellingham, Ferndale, and Mount Baker school districts. In Skagit County, we are in Anacortes, Burlington, and Mount Vernon. Last year was our first year that we were not in Sedro Woolley. We were in Sedro Woolley at Cascade Middle School for a handful of years. And then just lost funding, unfortunately, and so we had to end programming there, but I would love to be back in Sedro Woolley School District, just knowing the history and knowing how much need there is in this community as well. We're really also fortunate because there are people who have deep pockets that do see the work that we're doing. Steve Ballmer of the Ballmer Group, I don't even know where he was from. Microsoft? Does anybody know? Is that right? Yeah. That guy. He loves communities and schools. He is an advocate, he is a supporter, and he is an investor in communities and schools. More importantly, he's investing in our futures. So a handful of years ago, Steve decided that he was going to donate I'm supposed to say invest. He doesn't donate, he invests. He invested $165 million into our national office for the sole purpose of expansion. And so he wanted to see us expand across the country to 1,000 schools. We expanded into about 915. We were pretty close. But some of that helped facilitate our expansion into Burlington and the Mount Baker School District this past academic year. Steve also contributed or invested into our state office. Again, another about $19 million solely for expansion. So it's been a really great partnership. We are now talking to Steve and his team to get him to realize that expansion is great and sustainability is better. So we're working on that with him. We are currently working on our 25-26 data. We have a data management system called SYSDM. It's a very unique name, Communities and Schools Data Management, and we call it SYSDM. And so this data is just now coming out. So we're still looking at the previous academic year's numbers. Here it says that last year, at 24-25, we case managed 383 students. I saw the final number this morning, and we case managed 492 students this last academic year. So we increased our services by 100 students, which is huge. So we give out, like I said, we give out lots of basic needs. Here you'll see this number is 32,000. It says 178 basic need items is basically what we were handing out per day. I saw that number this morning and it was closer to 43,000. So the need is going up. So again, this is older because at that point we were only in 15 schools. Now we're in 17. And this is just kind of a breakdown, how many school-wide supports. This is per school. There were 633, totaling almost 9,500 whole school supports. That's a lot of support. And then 232 small groups were hosted at each school site, almost 3,500 for the entire affiliate. So as you can see, they stay really busy. And then we also really work on like community partnerships. And again, our end goal is graduation here. So as for direct support, there was about 8,500 of direct support hours. That means one-to-one student facing time. 68% of our students improved who had social, emotional, or behavioral goals. Just behavior goals, 81% for social emotional, 53% for academic, and 64% improved attendance. That just means we're getting more kids to be at school, and if they're at school, they can learn. So, again, I always just think it's really important to be able to recognize some of our partners who help make this work possible. We do all of our own, everything. I was talking to one of the previous executive directors for communities and schools, and I hired her when I was a board member. And she was like, nobody really gets running a nonprofit unless you run a nonprofit. Because as the executive director, literally the buck stops here. I have a board of directors that I answer to, but they're not making sure that my team's getting paid. And that's probably the biggest stressor of managing a nonprofit. This is just, people are always like, how can I support you? How can I donate? This is how you can donate. We have a Leaders for Learning. If you wanted to be a monthly donor to support the work, you can do that. If you wanted to do a monthly, you can do that as well. But what really helps us is signing up for our newsletter. Find out what we're doing, follow us on social media. We're gonna have a breakfast in March. We're gonna have a fundraiser in the middle of September. That's a great way. Continuing to talk to people in your local community about the work that we're doing. Our work is really complicated and nuanced, so it's not always the easiest thing, but if you're talking to a school person, be like, I bet I can find this Melinda lady from Communities in Schools, and she is happy to come and talk to you. Follow us on socials. That's me. Questions? Has anybody ever heard of Communities in Schools in this room? You guys have, really? Are you in education? Yeah. Yeah.
First question is, you mentioned that funding was lost for Cascade Middle School. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you mentioned that the Bomber expansion provided some funds for expanding. Mm-hmm. So can that not be used to go back to Cascade?
So last academic year, 25-26, was the last year for the Bomber funding, and they have a couple of caveats. One of them cannot go to a school that you were in the previous year that you would be leaving due to funding. So there was some stuff around it. Yeah, and I tried really hard. I was talking to anybody who would take my phone call. When we expanded into a number of school districts in 2020, with COVID, there was lots of money, right? There was ARPA money, there was ESSER money, there was all of these monies, so we were able to do these things as we saw that cliff and all of those things dropping. School districts were running out of money, we were running out of money. We are in conversations with another group called Blue Meridian, who also wants to do expansion. Their strict rule is that the school or somebody has to commit to 50% match. And so it gets tricky.
Okay, and then you and I chatted just a little bit about getting kids in school today is maybe even more difficult than it's ever been. Could you just chat a little bit about that and what you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a couple of different things. I think we're kind of over the COVID, students. We did lose a lot of students to online school, and some of them just didn't ever come back from that. We're also just saw a natural attrition of school enrollment declining because birth rates were lower. Public schools did a really bad job of preparing for that. Higher education did a great job K to 12, we're now just kind of trying to figure that out on how to do budgets. But some of the big things that we're seeing with our students specifically having lower attendance rates is fear of ICE, fear of immigration. We have a lot of migrant students who maybe they were born here, but their parents weren't born here. And so that fear is really driving it. That's probably the biggest thing that we're seeing right now. Second to that would be lack of housing, right? People are living in cars, there's housing insecurities. And so when people are living in cars and not able to shower and not have clean clothes, they're less likely to go and do something in a public setting like school. So I would say that those are kind of our biggest that we're seeing.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we have a little gift for you, Melinda. So this is our Rotary Challenge coin, and on this is our 4-way test, which is kind of our Rotary values, which this program fits perfectly in. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I've never received one of these.
Perfect.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I don't want to put that back in there and have all the noise. Let's give another round of applause to Melinda. Thank you for being here. I see Hunter is still here. Cooper is still here. You guys hung with us. Good job. Thank you guys for being here. And you're welcome anytime. Last thing I forgot to mention, the solicitation for service projects is open. So we have one, Dan Hockett and I met with the Y about a potential project. I think it could be a really fun, really good project, hands-on project for us. But we need ideas. So if you have ideas on service projects, now's the time. Let's try and collect them over the next month or so, and then we'll have a club vote and we'll get to work. So, okay, I think we do need to clean up. So let's do all the tables and chairs. Let's go be the good that somebody needs this week. Thank you.